you thought you were doing something when you built that gaming rig of yours, didn't you? You thought that when you watched your first Linus Tech Tips video, then scoured the discounts on Newegg.com, and then finally pieced together your shit, that it would be good enough to play any and every new game to be released. Well, I'm here to tell you that you most likely made one little tiny mistake when you built your PC. And no, I'm not talking about the GPU that costs as much as a low-end car, but something much smaller. Yeah, that's right. Put the magnifying glass on the motherboard because you most likely don't have enough RAM. Most will be quick to tell you that as a gamer, or even just everyday use of your PC, it takes no more than 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's the general rule of thumb. Just 2 slots in your PC should be filled with those slim little 8 gigabyte sticks, and you're on your way to a good time in every game or program that you throw at your PC. Most games usually have a recommendation of this 16 gigabytes, but what if I told you that there's a game that's being released that's recommending even more RAM, specifically 32 gigabytes. And here I thought those slots were always going to stay empty. PlayStation exclusive game Returnal, a third-person story-based shooter based on outer space adventure, is seeing a release on PC as another one of Sony's additions to their games for PC users. The game did well on the PlayStation console, and now Sony is bringing it over to Steam. The release date has yet to be officially released, but the game was recently added to Steam's page for users to wishlist and get a good sneak peek at the game's bio. And among the info shared on this Steam page is the expected system requirements so that you know if you can even run the game. Now, the cool thing that I like about playing on PC is the fact that most games have a lot of leeway to run even the more graphically intense games as long as you have somewhat new hardware. Like for most games, you could get away with a 5-year-old graphics card. Granted, it won't be as good as a newer graphics card. You probably gonna have to tweak some settings, but you know, at least you can still play. And the range of these games' graphics is usually shown on Steam with the system minimum requirements, like here on Returnal's page. GTX 1060, 8 gigs of RAM. Hell, this is perfect and has a lot of range for many people to enjoy the game. However, the recommended tab, that is what's used to achieve the optimal and peak performance of what the game has to offer. And if I had the funds to pay for an extremely high-end PC, anything less than peak performance would have me questioning my financial decisions. And here it displays that the developers recommend a RTX 2070 Super and 32 gigabytes of RAM. And while it isn't required, those that want to achieve the most out of what the game has to offer has to apparently upgrade one of the most unlikely parts of their PC. Now, if I'm honest, I have no idea why this game would recommend 32 gigabytes of RAM because, let's be honest, even if the game exceeds using 16 gigabytes somehow, I find it hard to believe that it gets close to 32, even with, playing with something like ray tracing. Unless this game runs like 20 different Google Chrome tabs in your background, I don't think it's going to use that much memory. So I feel that the 32 gigabytes is more of a precautionary measure just to assure that you have even more than enough RAM for the title. Like the PlayStation 5 itself only has 16 gigabytes of RAM and it runs the game perfectly. So if you're worried about this game, don't be. Don't take what I said in this video too seriously. It was more of satire. You'll be more than fine if you have 16 gigabytes of memory. But if you already have more than enough RAM than you need, then, I guess you're ahead of the game. So it's good to see another PlayStation exclusive ported to PC. So hopefully those that are waiting will enjoy this title. So what do you guys think about Returnal's PC release? Feel free to leave a comment down below. As always, leave a like on the video, subscribe. I'll see y'all.